Well, that was Charlotte Dubinsky there reporting from the centre of Paris yesterday evening. Let's get the views now of French publisher and journalist Aymeric Monville, who joins us. And good evening to you, Aymeric. Thanks for coming on. What are your thoughts about this new bill? Are you one of these that feel it's a bad thing because it will just make it harder to hold police to account for their actions?
Oh, yes, in order to explain to you, let me just take some examples. A driver suffocating with a choke key from policeman, or a policeman pointing his gun at point-blank range at an unarmed crowd, or one of the president's advisor himself, disguised as a police agent and beating an individual in a demonstration without restraint, or a member of the Republican security companies tripping a demonstrator. All these are images that we have recently seen in France. If you suppress them, it's a blank check with no limits and no control. Why the French government under Macron has distinguished itself by its repression of the yellow vests, it is now asking for anonymity and impunity for these forces of law and order who behave so badly.
It's one argument, though, that obviously police do need protecting. I mean, I may have this wrong, but they're not saying you can't film police entirely. It's what you do with those images afterwards. So presumably, if you film police and they've done something wrong, and you feel, justifiably you should take action, you could take those images to the court and that would be okay, but you couldn't post them on Facebook, for example, and say, get this officer.
Yes, seen from abroad, you can think that it's so easy to understand. But when you just have in mind that over the past 2 years, since the beginning of the Yellow Vest protests in France, 200 journalists, as reported by the newspaper L'Humanité, have been injured, arrested, had their equipment broken, or found themselves in police custody. So you can see that there is a constant threat, and with this new law, it will be harder and harder. Just Geneviève Leguet, she was a 73-year-old woman, was charged by this policeman during a demonstration and thrown to the ground. And contradicted by videos, the prosecutor himself had to retract his statements. Otherwise, with this new law, one could have seen the journalists relaying the case being prosecuted.
Is there a better option here, though? Because is there something that would balance the concerns of police? They need protecting, but also the public feels it has the right to film in case something goes wrong on the streets.
I think violence may be used within the framework of the law when there is self-defense, or if the use is strictly necessary and proportionate, but only the possibility of filming freely without constraints gives these guarantees. I think for the sake of everyone, it would be better to prohibit flash mobs like it is in other countries, or to prohibit bending and belly plating, these dangerous immobilization techniques. But the rapporteur of this law does not like the expression police violence because he thinks that there is legitimate and illegitimate violence. I think in a nutshell we can say that France is experiencing an authoritarian Bonapartist drift, as it has unfortunately often experienced in its past. I'm sorry to say that.
Okay, Aymeric, look, we're going to have to leave it there, but really nice to talk to you tonight. That was French publisher and journalist Aymeric Monville. Thanks for coming on.